happily trapped here.
Happily trapped.
Yeah.
Great. Welcome. We'll get to talk about your journeys, but I guess somebody's on the line here. Let's take and see who's here. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Seun.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm Jide. I'm calling from Makola.
Jide, welcome, Jide. Welcome.
On what you're discussing this afternoon, you see, in fact, I'd like to blame President Buhari on this. Because when he wanted to appoint ministers, and we appointed these people, former governors, former senators as ministers in this ministry, we were talking them, we were shouting them. But some people, their supporters, and some analysts, even on your program, and the various programs are saying, no, people have managed your state before, so they can manage anything. Imagine apart you're managing Niger Delta Commission, and we know what will come out of it. And imagine a Frank Okori, who was a supporter of Buhari before he came in, managing that for district. But the President Buhari lost with the Frank Okori there. Because the Frank Okori cannot assemble people for him during election or after election. But those people can gather people for them and win election. Point. And look, that has been the case since when the Rwanda came appointing ministers, and people will question them from that part. At time of affairs in various nations in the country. That's why we're having these issues. So, on what can be done, I think what is done now is they cannot start the ministries anyway. But what I think they should do now is remove those guys. If they can take even half of the money, fine. But I don't think they see the money to retrieve again. That money is gone.
Thank you, Ajala. Where he's saying that money is gone. I mean, that last statement, that money is gone. Should we all just resign and say the money is gone?
No.
Because part of the recommendation is that EFCC should recover the money from some of them.
Yes.
Is the money gone? Would you say the money is gone?
It's our money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so just like Tunde said,
if you drag them,
they'll
surprise you.
Find the money.
That's a lot of it will be
recovered,
because these are. I mean, basically, why do they steal this money? You see, you need to understand why these people do what they do, because they are very ambitious. In their mind, they are positioning themselves. Somebody wants to be president in 2023. Somebody's planning to be governor. Somebody's planning to be this. So they are stacking this money somewhere.
As a war chest.
Believing that it's going to be useful. Yes, as a war chest. So I believe if you drag them properly, I use drag, in a guided way. Okay, you'll be able to retrieve a lot of it back.
All right, so maybe one more, 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678. So while let's see if someone is there. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, thank you for joining us.
Hello, good evening.
Please turn down the volume on your radio set, please.
I don't like deceiving myself. This country, what do you expect to come out of this thing? They will know how to settle it later among themselves. It's like telling, what do we call it in Yoruba, Olugbo, cat, to go and probe the eating of a fish in the kitchen. What do you expect? Forget about it. Corruption has become character in this country. Only God can save us.
Thank you. That's sad.
I can understand. I can relate. I know where it's coming from. I mean, if you look back, you'll see what has happened to the power probe. The $16 billion. The telecoms probe, the capital markets probe, even the oil subsidy probe that produced the Lawan Gate, and now the NDDC probe. But the truth is, we simply can't just resign to fate and say it's not going to happen. We know those who should act. You see, sometimes we are not able to separate the institution from the person. The point is that the National Assembly is empowered to perform oversight.
Yes.
Now they've submitted their own resolution. The president knows about it. The president is the appointing authority here in this case. So wait.
You should make the call. Let's quickly touch on security issue. The National Assembly members, particularly the Senate, came up with a resolution this week that the service chiefs should step aside And
either resign or be fired.
And the presidency, in a swift reaction, said that it is a prerogative of the president to either hire or fire the service chiefs. Part of what we know is that the president had been in consultation with these people all along. And the Senate who chairs the Army Committee, Alin Dume, said that even if you change the service chiefs, will it change the funding, the poor funding of the military? That in his own village, he's being called almost every day that people are being killed in the village, in their farms, and that the military is poorly funded, that we do not have enough manpower, they're shredded all over the places. Look, I've asked this question whether we win the war against insecurity or not. I'll start from Tunde. What do you want the president to do in terms of this insecurity, particularly with the service chiefs?
Okay. Firstly, I agree with Senator Alin Dume that the military, just like every other sector, is poorly funded.
That's right.
Because we simply don't have the fund. Contrary to what a lot of people think, we are not a rich country per se. We have the potential. We do have the potential, I believe, that we could become a very rich country. But as it stands right now, we are not. You see, anytime things like this come up, it takes me back to what our former finance minister, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, once said that the budget of Nigeria, that is the federal budget that we have in Nigeria, is not up to the budget of the New York Police Department. So that should tell you, and we are still not able to make our budget perform even up to 60%. So that should tell you where we are. So I agree that it is not, the army is not well funded. Having said that, the facts on ground indicate that these guys have failed. I'm talking about the service chiefs. And yes, we agree that it is the prerogative of the president, who is the commander-in-chief, to either appoint or fire these people. And if he is saying that the National Assembly does not have the authority to fire or force them to resign, but they do have the powers under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to move against the president, who is actually the one, primarily responsible for this, the commander-in-chief, because it's an impeachable offense when you fail in your duty. Yes, your primary duty is to protect the lives and property of the people. Are you doing that? Have you done that in the Northeast? Have you done that in Kaduna, especially in Southern Kaduna? What about the kidnapping all over that has actually become, more or less a profession?
The sector.
So if they can't move against the service chiefs, then they should go for the big man.
Michael, quickly.
I agree with Tunde that they should really tackle the president on this. The question you ask the president is if the presidency is insisting that this guys is the president's prerogative and the rest of it. One question you ask is, don't they have key performance indices? Do they have really? Are there no standards for them to really achieve? Are there no?
The chief of army staff is saying they're doing well. Did you hear him on television?
What does he mean by doing well? Those of us who are civilians from top to bottom, we know that they have failed.
How much do you know about security network?
The architecture. But I know that people are getting killed every day. So that should be sufficient for me. So if you go to a person's farm and it says that I have experience of 40 years rearing chickens, and then you enter the poultry and you see 100 birds dead on the ground, and he tells you that he is experienced in this job, you ask him, Oga, what about these ones? Did they fall from the sky? No, people are getting killed every day. Even this week, people have been killed in this country. So if the chief of army staff or the chief of defense staff or all of them come up and say we've performed, then the question you ask them is, what about these ones?
I don't even see these guys as soldiers anymore.
They're not. They're become merchants.
Like executives now. They are commissioning projects in their names. Authoring books. There's the Legend of Burata. It's a book is out there.
Legend of
Burata. Structures everywhere. I think they've lost it.
Is it the Minister of Works?
They've lost it.
Okay, Hannah, welcome again.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
I'm going to pause from. it's a grim stories that I.
No, but it's important. Yeah.
I'm coming to you. So in your journey, when you when this pandemic broke, you just told us before we came to microphone that you came in just before the airports were closed down. So what have you seen in Lagos, really?
I mean, attempts of social distancing. I say attempts because I think a lot of it comes with education, actually informing ourselves, others, communities as to the severity of this virus. So that's been a slow rising kind of thing. And obviously Lagos is the epicenter of the outbreak. So I guess it kind of depends. I know that there was that forcible lockdown, but my main concern was more for people who cannot afford a lockdown, because there are more Nigerians who can't than those who can. So I could see why that couldn't last as long. But just touching on insecurity, because it does tie in also to this period of the lockdown. There was a recent report that since the lockdown, which I believe was on the 29th or the 30th of March, there's been over 3,000 reported cases of rape, which is a growing issue in the country. And I actually observed a few protests that were put on by some friends. My friend Ife, she runs a platform called My Voice, My Future. And, they had placards and they stood around very popular areas of Lagos with shocking statistics. I think the one that really blew me away was 1 in 4 women in Nigeria have admitted to being raped or sexually assaulted, which is very problematic, and even more sad to see this number again of 3,000 since the lockdown. So as well as insecurity of the country, because we have 36 states with so many different rules and senators saying this and that and etc. Our civilians also include our women, who we need to look after. And this can happen in so many different ways, whether it's a corrupt police officer, domestic violence, a colleague, anyone. So more awareness needs to be raised. And these are the conversations that the president should also add on his bullet point list, which I'm sure is as long as my arm.
He's in
probably
Mali.
my leg.
He's in Mali.
Yeah.
He probably will not listen to you right now. But anyway, you want him to be on this, really.
Yeah.
If you look around, would you say women have been impacted negatively more when we talk about this pandemic? When you talked about people who couldn't afford the lockdown?
Yeah, absolutely. I was scrolling through social media and there's so many people who have just been saying, please, this is terrible for me. I can't feed my family. So there have been some charitable acts done. I've connected with many single mothers around Lagos, where I was spending a lot of my time and just helping out in whichever way that I can. But yeah, it has impacted them heavily. So I can imagine the sigh of relief once the lockdown was lifted and they could therefore go back to business.
Compare Ibadan and Lagos in terms of observing the non-medical protocol for COVID-19.
It's an interesting one. I mean, I've been in Lagos for officially 7 hours or so, and I'm not seeing that much use of face masks. Honestly, in Lagos, I saw so much more, even with the fashionable Ankara material. But maybe I need to spend more time here, which I really look forward to. But I'm not seeing a lot of it, which is a bit concerning. I understand the numbers are higher in Lagos, but this is called a pandemic for a reason, because the world needs to pay attention to it and just become more informed about it.
So before we go for the final break and we're done, gentlemen, let's come to Oyo State quickly. I told you a story about my journey between Lake Ibadan and Molete, the operation No Potholes. But there are many potholes on that road. I was concerned because, in fact, would I even call some of them potholes? I'll call it a crater. So one in front of, adjacent to APC Secretariat. That place, just Okeado, Liberty Junction, that place is an eyesore. It's a bit of a stretch. Do you think this Operation No Potholes is working?
Well, I am assuming that it will work. I am assuming that it will work, but Ibadan is a very big place. So we may not be, seeing immediately the impact of it. But I also think that the government has been very, very slow in attending to the potholes. Okay, very, very, or I should have added a third one, very, to it. I'm interested in that because we drive around here and you understand the economic impact of it. The fact that it slows you down, the fact that you have to be paying mechanics to be fixing your shock absorber and the rest of it every time. All these things comes back to you to say that the government should speed up action. See, governance is about making the people comfortable. That's just it.
Tunde.
Operation Zero Portals, we still have, thousands of portals everywhere. This is the season where you get to know, almost every part of your car, shock absorber, ball joint, linkage, tires, this and that. I'm not seeing anything. We still have portals everywhere. And I don't know how much we can do right now because it's raining every day. I mean, I think it was Desmond who almost punched his mechanic.
Yes, it was Desmond. It was almost fighting.
He's not every mechanic. We are what they call up.
Which one is home? I need to come and learn. Okay. We have to go. Hannah, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
I hope you're going to enjoy your time in Ibadan. Really.
Yes, as long as there's lots of amala, then yes.
Oh, Desmond is a merchant of amala.
Yes, I'm excited.
Think amala when they think Ibadan.
Because
when the word Ibadan comes to you,
is amala.
Because we have the best here.
We are more than that.
But we have the best of amala around here. Well, Michael, thank you very much for being here.
Anytime.
Tunde, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Must thank every one of you. Hannah, appreciate your coming too. Bosun, thank you so much for helping. I'm Oyo State, Akinola. I'm sure Nigeria will be great. I'm optimistic. Bye for now.
Splash FM 105.5.